I took 4 weeks off the gym after the show out of those 6 weeks where I gained 20 pounds, and of course, a lot of it has been muscle mass. Not only that, I went cold turkey on the super sups. So how is it possible I grew muscle mass under those conditions? What is good, guys? My name is Rory Gissing, and today's video, we're gonna discuss how it was possible I was able to gain 20 pounds in 6 weeks on only 2,500 calories. And as you can see, I'm in pretty good shape still. So it's not all gonna be fat. Yes, of course, some of it will be fat because this was post-contest. So I'm not exactly in contest shape right now, so some of it is definitely fat, but still not 20 pounds worth of fat. You're talking maybe 10 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of muscle, and some water between the both. Between the both? Spread out between the two of them. So it does require quite a specific scenario, and I actually mentioned it just then, being post-show. So you need to be pretty shredded, and I was, in show condition, arguably in show condition. I probably could have got a little bit leaner, but my metabolism started really messing around, which is why I'm only on 2,500 calories and growing like a weed. So to kick the video off, we are going to just discuss one of the big myths in the fitness industry. A lot of you already know that this is totally inaccurate, but for some of you who are unaware, you do not increase your metabolism as you go into a cut. So a lot of people think their metabolism's amazing and it's on fire because they're lean, they're shredded, and they feel warm all the time. That is simply not the case. Your metabolism is at its absolute lowest when you are at your absolute leanest, or even you're at your lightest. There's many factors contributing towards this. I made a video specifically talking about the factors involved to determine one's metabolism. It's not just your basal metabolic rate. There are many different factors involved. So I have no idea what my maintenance calories was at the end of my cut, because you only really need to calculate that at the start of the cut or the start of the bulk, just to give you an idea of the amount of calories you're supposed to be eating. But then that number changes continuously as you progress through either the cut or the bulk. So there's just no point in having to know that number if it's not necessary. You have a baseline on, this is a number you aim for, take away 200 calories if you want to cut, or add 200 calories if you want to bulk, and then continuously do that as your sort of weights increase or decrease. When you flatline, so if you have 2 months of maintained weight, it means your metabolism has adjusted, so you need to continuously either take or give more calories to the body, depending which way you want to go. So by the end of prep, I was eating 2.2 thousand calories, but I was also doing an hour of cardio and 10,000 steps on top of the hour of cardio. However, after the show, so I had a kind of a week of just downtime, and when I reintroduced a really stable diet plan, I was having 2,500 calories, but I was only doing 20 minutes of cardio and 6,000 steps. Now, the other factor I need to talk about are the fat burners. So these are the non-natural fat burners which the bodybuilders will take coming into a contest prep. Saying that, the majority of people seem to be on these days just to look good at the beach, which I don't recommend. But anyway, coming off the fat burners does mean my metabolism is going to be even lower. So just because I added in 300 calories and reduced my cardio, taking away the fat burners, again, this is going to be just complete guess. I reckon I was somewhere in a surplus of 600 to 700 calories per day. So of course, in that sense, it's no surprise I gained 20 pounds over 6 weeks. This is why doing these mini cuts during a bulk is actually a pretty good tool to keep increasing your size. Even though you think you're going backwards because you're going to start losing weight, it just resets. This is a terrible term, so don't look too far into it, but it feels like it resets the metabolism. It does make a difference. So you do get to eat less calories, but actually still gain more weight because you are changing and adapting your metabolism. Now, this is the craziest part to this all. If you're already a subscriber, you probably know this about me, but I took 4 weeks off the gym after the show out of those 6 weeks where I gained 20 pounds. And of course, a lot of it has been muscle mass. Not only that, I went cold turkey on the super sups. So how is it possible I grew muscle mass under those conditions? Well, it's because I was in such a hefty deficit. I really did feel like I over dieted and just not destroyed my metabolism, but it definitely sent it a little bit haywire. So I was just growing and growing and growing on such a small amount of calories. This is, of course, for me, because my off seasons, I was getting into 4,500 calories. So, 2,500 calories is not a lot for me. All I can really do is come up with theories, and my main theory is my body was just so beaten up from the show prep, and I was in such a hefty deficit that all of those 4 weeks was actually really solid recovery time, and it does go to show that you have a much longer window for growing muscle after you work out, after you break down the muscle tissue, and then your body needs time to recover, grow, and repair. So I was growing throughout that entire 4 weeks, and yeah, a lot of it was muscle mass. So to summarize, that 6 weeks post-show where I gained 20 pounds, 4 of those, I wasn't training in the gym. I still did my cardio, but since then, I'm actually back to training. So now I'm 8 weeks post-show, so I've been at the gym and training properly for the past 2 weeks, and I actually increased my carbs pretty much by 90 grams, and my total calories went up to around 3,000. So I added on pretty much, 500 calories. Why would I do that if I'm crashing on the body weight? Well, I'm just too hungry. So I didn't go mad post-show. I was having one cheat meal a week. My weight was still, like I say, crashing on, but I was just so hungry. Like I said, I am used to 4,500 calories being my off season, so 2,500 calories was just killing me, especially not being able to train, sitting at home, just doing 20 minutes of cardio. I was losing my mind, and the hunger was just getting to me, especially I don't have this end goal, which is a show, to keep me, on track and to keep my, motivation high, even though motivation is not that important. When your motivation is really, really low, your discipline starts to drop off. So it's quite hard to just convince myself that going through that pain barrier has any point to it. So as soon as I was back in the gym and able to train, I shot my food straight up, and I'm enjoying life a little bit better now. So since then, let's see, since I got back to training, I'm still doing 20 minutes of cardio post-workout now, and on my rest days, I'll do 30 minutes. But saying that, I am enjoying some non-traditional bodybuilding foods, such as breads. I'm absolutely destroying wraps and bagels and even just toast. I'm doing the Greg Doucette French toast breakfasts, which I'm loving at the moment, but you can tell my body is not used to this kind of food because I have gained another 7 pounds over those 2 weeks, even though my output is significantly higher. Now I'm back to full-time training. A lot of it, you can tell, is some inflammation and therefore water retention. I think that's going to be the case from the first 6 weeks as well, just because if you're introducing foods you're not normally eating, and I was doing that in the first 6 weeks. I just introduced just a couple slices of bread for my breakfast. That does just sort of increase a little bit of the body's inflammation, and increasing inflammation does increase some water retention with it. Which means I'm 27 pounds up in the space of 8 weeks and still in relatively decent shape, not too much body fat. So I can thank the diet and being strict as hell on that diet plan post-show. That's pretty much the reason why I've been able to stay in relatively decent shape, eating the right foods and not just going out and binging where everything is going to turn into body fat. No, eating the right foods, the foods that are still very good for muscle growth, is the reason I'm still in relatively decent shape, because of course I am slightly fatter. I'm definitely not contest shape. So stick to a diet plan post-show. And this is where you get the term rebounding. Your body's just in a position where you can absorb nutrition like a sponge because you've been in a deficit for so long. So I highly, highly advise, don't lose the plot. Wait until your metabolism can recover a little bit. Introduce cheat meals, of course, but like I said, I'm doing one a week. That was my sweet spot, and I can work really hard throughout the week and then have one cheat meal. And I didn't really see that much of a negative side effect having that one cheat meal. But that's everything for today's video, guys. I am just about to start my official off season, so I'm kind of just having a bit of fun, having a bit more normality right now. So my workouts are pretty much whatever I want to do, just go in and just wing it and just enjoy lifting again and feeling strong. And like I say, my diets aren't exactly the traditional bodybuilding diets where I'm having bagels and wraps and French toast for breakfast. So that is all going to start coming back into a normal bodybuilding diet where I officially start the off season and grow even more, potentially get another 10 to 20 pounds on my frame. And then we'll have to decide if I'm going to stay in men's physique or level up to classic. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you are so you don't miss out on that. And if you got this far, please like the video and let me know if there's any questions on any of the content I shared in this, or if you have any general questions which weren't covered in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.